So far this week, as we have followed the story of Noah and Noah's interaction with God, we've heard of God's tremendous disappointment and regret, and God's grief at having created humanity in chapter 6 because of the evil and the wickedness and the violence that just was such a part of human behavior. And sadly, we have not improved much on that. But we've heard about Noah being called and him responding and obeying and doing all that the Lord commanded with building the ark and the animals. And we've heard about the storm and the waters finally subsiding. And then we come to chapter 9. And our passage for today, I encourage you to read Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 through 17. Our verse for the day is verse 13, where God says, I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. And it's really important to look, if you look in verses 10 and 12 and 13 and 15 and 16, that God's covenant is not just between God and Noah. It's not just between God and Noah and his family. It's not just God and humanity. But the covenant that God has established, as God says, is with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the domestic animals, and every animal of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. And so it's important to understand, as Christians, there's no one who should be more concerned about every other living creature and the earth itself than Christians. Because in Genesis, we're told that humanity is created to take care of, to till, to steward or husband the garden of Eden and all the animals and all that God has created. The covenant that God establishes in Genesis 9 is with all living creatures and with the earth. And so we should not have this division between like Christians being against environmentalists or something. We should be, like St. Francis was, among the strongest advocates for the right regard of the earth and every living creature, and respect nature and try to leave no trace as much as possible when we're out in nature, because God's covenant, God's care and concern is for every living creature. And that's something that we remember when we see a bow in the clouds. And as I mentioned in my sermon, back in ancient times, the ancients imagined the rainbow as a bow of the divine warrior and kind of associated it with arrows of lightning that came, and that you could understand people seeing thunderstorms and lightning and rainbows, people not having the scientific knowledge that we have today, making those kinds of connections. But the rainbow is a sign of God laying down a weapon of destruction, and instead is a symbol of God's love and concern for every living thing and for the earth itself, which God created, and God created good.